The Player, written and read by Linda Rock. My partner loved playing games. They amused him and gave him pleasure. His imagination knew no limits, for his games were always in endless supply, and they varied daily. Unlike his sole chosen participant, me. Many of you will have heard my story before. The man at the start of our relationship, who besieged me with compliments and found me utterly irresistible, became the man who only ever found fault. And because I'd allowed him to alienate me from my friends and family, he'd left me with no one in which to confide or seek help. His degrading comments regarding my weight, dress sense, and culinary skills were so cleverly disguised that I barely recognized them as offensive at first. That's how mind games begin. They condition you into acceptance before escalating and robbing you of all your self-worth. I still remember my first lesson in humiliation. It was on a rare occasion that I'd voiced a suggestion. He'd appeared to be impressed, showering me with compliments on my ingenuity, only to crush the pleasure I took from them by mocking my naivety in believing that anything I had to recommend would be of the slightest consequence. It was just another Saturday night, the night I cooked risotto, his favourite meal. When he'd queried why the helping on my plate was a different colour and texture to his, I'd explained that mine was less spicy and unlikely to meet his expectations. He had smiled, and it would appear warm to the unfamiliar, but not to me. I'd learned the hard way that my opinion would automatically be disregarded. He'd reached across the table, swapping his plate of risotto for mine. His smug expression, having tasted a sample, signified that once again I was wrong. Minutes later, his lifeless body lay on the dining room floor. How satisfying it had been watching him devour every morsel, each laced with lethal and undetectable poison. Looking back, there's no denying his games were well thought out and effective. But over time, they had also become predictable. That's when the played became the player.